Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Amyrlin Study. I'm Jess, your Amyrlin Seat, and today we're going to talk about 10 things that I loved in Season 1, Episode 1 of The Wheel of Time. Let's go! So first things first, before we get started, I want to give a warm welcome and thank you to my newest patron, Punk Rock Pollyanna. Thank you so much for your support. I really, really appreciate it, and it means a lot, so thank you. All right, now that that's done, let's talk about some fucking fantasy. What I have prepared today is by no means an exhaustive list of things that I liked in this episode of the show. It's just 10 things that really stood out to me that I liked and felt like talking about. So, roll tape. Number 1, the storm scene over Emond's Field. This scene is really, really striking because you have this enormous, ominous, just like dark, clouded storm over the town, and there's this contrast between that and the festive lights outside of the buildings and the festivities that are happening inside the inn, and it's just like, it just screams that there's fuckery afoot, that something isn't right, and it's just gorgeous. And I know that a lot of this is CG'd, but, you know, this is as good a time as any to just ask the Czech Republic who gave it the permission to be this gorgeous, because honestly, it's beautiful. Number 2, Lan's entrance. Look at this drama queen. Look at this. Just look at him, like hooded mystery man, and then of course Nynaeve coming over and like getting ready to fucking stab him right off the bat with her hand on her knife. Of course, we stan a violent queen forever. So yeah, just this very emo presentation is chef's kiss. I love it. Number 3, Layla being a badass. She blacksmiths. She fucks up Trollics. This woman is the total package. Now, I have spoken before about how I do not like what happened to her in this episode. I do not like that they fridged her, because they did fridge her. There are people who have argued that they didn't, but they did. They killed her because they needed a way to advance Perrin's storyline. That's the definition of fridging. But look at this woman. Look at her take out this Trollic, clubs him, takes him out at the knee. Like, she's incredible. You know, Rafe has said that there's more to Layla's situation than just dying. And some people have conjectured that that means that she's actually Birgitta Silverbow. And I do actually love that. I do love that. And I hope that it's true. Is it going to make me not hate the fact that they killed her off in the first episode when she had barely even said anything? No, it will not make me not hate it. But I may begrudgingly admit that there was a method to their madness there. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But one thing that I did notice as well, and I'm sure that other people have pointed this out, but there are subtle touches in Layla's costume that are reminiscent of Birgitta Silverbow. To wit, first of all, obviously the long blonde braid, an intricate braid. Now that's an inside-out French braid, which is a little bit more intricate than your typical braid or even your typical French braid. Now, the way that I always imagined Birgitta's hair was in a fishtail braid, which if you don't know what that is, Google it. That is an intricate braid, and that's what I always envisioned for Birgitta, but that is really neither here nor there. Long blonde braid. Cropped jacket. Here we see a cropped blue jacket, and Birgitta Silverbow wears a cropped jacket, and I think it's a cropped blue jacket with like yellow pants, right? So this also could potentially be a nod to Birgitta, that she's wearing this cropped blue jacket. Wide-legged trousers. If you look here, you can kind of see it. It's not the best image, but it's what I have available. She has wide-legged trousers, just like Birgitta Silverbow. Now, it's difficult to tell from here whether those trousers are brought in at the ankle the way Birgitta's are, but regardless, blonde braid, cropped jacket, wide leg trousers, I mean, they're I don't think that there's anybody else in the Two Rivers who's garbed quite like this. And so, it might mean something. Rafe did say that they left lots of Easter eggs in season 1, and we as a fandom had not, at least at that point, like, cottoned to most of them. We had only gotten like a fraction of what they actually threw in there. So this is a nod to Brigida Silverbow because she is actually Brigida Silverbow, and she had to die so that she could come back out of the pattern the way, she does later in the story. Or maybe it's just a nod to that, this kind of garb for a badass warrior woman, because that is what Layla is. And it's one of many reasons why I was so upset that they offed her, because she's amazing. But I digress. Number 4, Matt, I'm no bloody hero Cawthon running back out into the middle of a Trollic attack to find his sisters. This dude, I know that there are a lot of people who don't like the direction that they went with Matt for this, and I can understand that, but if you think about it, until after the dagger, there isn't a whole lot to Matt. You don't really get on board with him until after the whole dagger Matt thing is done, and I like that they took the opportunity to give him more depth and motivation. It's just, it has more substance than, oh, he's a trickster and this is just the kind of stuff he does because he's a trickster. It's just, it's a thin thread, and it's hard to really get invested in somebody like that. But with the struggles that he has trying to care for his sisters while his parents are obviously, not worth much, which, I understand that a lot of people are outraged on behalf of Abel and Natty Cawthon, and I respect that. I understand it, but I don't know. I feel like I can be more invested in somebody who does the things he does because he's deeply motivated by the fact that he lives in poverty and that his parents do not provide for him. So he has to provide for his sisters and for himself. And so, yeah. And this whole scene, the point, of course, being the scene where he runs out to find his sisters, it sets up this part of Matt who fights for the people that he cares about. And we've established that, and I think that we're going to see it come back. And what I really hope is that, in the books, Matt and Perrin kind of went more hands-off once they found out that Rand can channel. And I'm hoping that we don't do that as much because, I don't know, that just rubbed me the wrong way. Somebody that you've known your entire life and, something happens to them. And, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's the whole, you've grown up hearing that men who can channel are the worst fucking thing in the world. And then your best friend ends up being one of them. But, I would love to see at least one of them do better, I guess, is my point there. But, anyway. Matt running out into the battle. Excellent. Classic Matt Cawthon. And I love it. Number 5. The fight. Tam's fight with the Trollic. This shit is just epic. Now, I am a huge fan of sword fights, martial weaponry kind of fights. Fight choreography I find very interesting. This whole scene here, they shot it from lots of different angles. I understand that that's what they do. I really wish that we could have seen more of it. I hope that they have a behind the scenes or something where we get to see them training for this, see more of the fighting without, flashing to different cameras, because, it's amazing. The moment where he pulls the sword out of the sheath, just so badass. Just so incredibly badass. This shot, I feel like, is an underrated shot. Getting into the stance, amazing. This is attention to detail in the choreography that you don't necessarily see right away because it's all moving so fast. But, I really, really, really appreciate it. And then, the shot of the heron-marked blade. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I lost my shit when I saw that. Oh my God, it was so cool. I love it. And the little detail that he pulled it from a box under the bed. He didn't have to go upstairs to do it. It was right there, which is probably good. And the look on Rand's face that he had no idea where this came from. He had no idea that his father was capable of this kind of thing. Like, you know, in the context of the show, we haven't learned what the heron-marked blade means, but presumably, I mean, it seems plausible that Rand might know that a heron-marked blade is the blade of a blade master. And so if he's like, wait, what? My dad is a blade master? When the fuck did that happen? Like, yeah, I loved it. I loved the whole thing, and I really hope that we get some behind the scenes stuff, because I would love to see more about how they prepared for this. Number 6, I think. Number 6. Nynaeve yelling back at the Trollic. Look at this. Like, she has to know that this is a hopeless situation. That there is no way that she and Egwene are going to come out of this alive. But they're still going to go down swinging. And I love that. And the look on Egwene's face, like, she is ready to fucking do a murder crime right now. And I love it. I absolutely fucking love it. Just ready to fuck shit up. And if she has to go down, she'll go. But she'll go down swinging. And I absolutely just love it. And really, there isn't a whole lot more to say about that. Just a quintessential Nynaeve moment and an excellent Egwene moment. Number 7. All of the times that Moraine and Lan fought together, just the way they worked in concert, the way that they moved together, just, and I'm getting distracted just watching it because it's so cool. This moment here where she does some kind of like flashbang to stun them so that he can take 3 of them out at once, you know, just the trust, you know, the way that they are so aware of where the other one is in space and what's going to happen, with that part where she drops to her knees so that he can swing over her head. You know, the absolute trust that she has that he will make sure that nothing gets to her so that she can do what she needs to do. And I just feel like they did such an excellent job of portraying that. And I just loved it. And I cannot wait to see more of the two of them, like, fucking shit up together. And of course, with the season ending with Moraine being shielded, it might be a minute before we get that, but I am willing to wait. It is worth waiting for. So, number 8. Days Conqueror. What else is there to say? Days Conqueror. Like, out there, no fucks to give, probably still drunk, just like, really? You want to do this? Let's dance, motherfucker. Just so good. Just so good. And then leading to this Trollic being taken down by like a whole bunch of the women in the village. I just love that so much. And I know that there are people who took exception to it because, oh, there were women taking down Trollics, but we didn't see any men taking down Trollics. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, so what? Second of all, we do have shots of men fighting the Trollics. I can think of at least 2 off the top of my head, and I wasn't paying that close of attention to it. So that is patently false. And, you know, just, I guess, get over it. Like, so what? You know? And here's the thing that bothers me about that. I'm going to be an angry liberal feminist killjoy here for a second. So if we had that scene and all we saw were men taking down Trollics, and we saw no women taking down Trollics, nobody would say anything about that because we are conditioned to think that that is normal. But the minute that we have a bunch of women being brave and strong and taking down a Trollic, people start screaming, oh, there were no men taking down Trollics. So what? So fucking what? Like, is your ego so fragile that if you don't see yourself represented on screen for, like, one moment, you're gonna lose your mind over it? Welcome to every oppressed population ever who has waited and waited and waited to see themselves represented in a positive way or at all in mainstream media. Like, cry me a river. Who cares? There are plenty of men fighting in this show. Like, get over it. And if you want to be mad, you can be mad, but I said what I said and I stand by it. So, number 9, Moraines' second wind. This shit right here, pulling the knife out, like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going for broke. Like, this is not optional. Just, and the visual of it, the way she's drawing the power out of the fire, all of the weaves coming down, just, oh my God, it looks amazing. It looks so amazing. It's epic. It's absolutely epic. And then she's bowling for Trollics. Like, yeah. Strike again. Like, take him down. Yeah, I love this. I love this. And just that last final push. And that brings us to number 10. The inn collapsing. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. And Lan running to, like, protect her with his body. And just, like, the whole thing looks, it's just so neat. I want to believe that was actually, they got it in one take. They like collapsed the building and that was it. I really want that to not be CGI'd. I don't know if it is or not. Somebody probably does. If you know, like, let me know in the comments. But for the moment, I choose to believe that they nailed that in one take and they collapsed the inn, and, like, it was epic and amazing. And that was, like, real debris, and it was just fucking hardcore. Yeah, that is what I choose to believe. So there. Those are 10 things that I loved from season 1, episode 1 of The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime Video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your favorite moments were down in the comments. And, yeah, I think that's all I have for you tonight. Until next time, stay hydrated and, like, don't get mad when girls do cool things on TV. Like,